Dragons have been creatures of mythology for thousands of years, and stories about them are told by civilizations around the world. But the indigenous people of Australia didn't need myth because they were always on the menu of real life dragons. From the serpentine dragons of Asia to the six-limbed lizard-like dragons of Europe, they all shared one thing in common. They were depicted as an amalgamation of reptilian, mammalian, and avian features. The first story of dragons is generally agreed to date back to ancient Mesopotamia, the Mushushu, which translate to fierce snake. The ancient people of Mesopotamia described them as serpent-like, with scales all over its body, along with a snake head and eagle talons on its feet. So where did these stories come from? According to the Smithsonian, they probably stem from our instinctual fear of predators like pythons, big cats, birds of prey, and crocodiles from when we were still running around on the African continent, reinforced with mistaken identities such as dinosaur fossils, and you have a myth as old as time. Dragons may have not been real, but nature sure tried its best to create them. Of course, most obvious are dinosaurs. Dinosaur needs no introduction. Their huge size and reptilian scales can give you something akin to a dragon. Coolest of all had to be the dinosaur Yi, which had an uncanny resemblance to cockroaches, just much smaller. And while they're not dinosaurs, the exarchates like Quetzalcoatlus or Cryodragon definitely fit the bill. You can almost imagine these giant pterosaurs soaring across the sky, terrorizing a kingdom or two. And for the Asian representation, we had the biggest of boas, the titanoboa, and the biggest of vipers, the Laufus. Between getting squeezed to death or dying from venom, both will surely give you a horrible way to go out. Lesser known are the land crocs, a group that's comprised of various families of terrestrial pseudotsuchians, like the gigantic Phaseolasuchus of the Rauisuchidae. Standing at a towering 2 meters, this croc was no joke, weighing in at a staggering 4 tons. It was at the top of the Triassic ecosystem, even preying on early dinosaurs before the Triassic mass extinction. Or, if you wanted something a bit more recent, we had the Sebekid Barenasuchus, which was estimated to be 3 to 4 meters long and over half a ton. It was one of the biggest land predators during the age of mammals. The creatures I've mentioned above were scary, no doubt, but rest assured, you won't encounter them because they've gone extinct. While we now have the luxury of letting out a sigh of relief, the people first arrived in Australia did not. According to the Australian Museum, Homo sapiens migrated to mainland Australia over 50,000 years ago from Asia, and this is where humans would come face to face with the magnificent yet terrifying dragons of Australia, Quincana and Megalania. Quincana fortirostrum, or Quincana, was basically a saltwater crocodile that can run you down and disembowel you with their dinosaur-like teeth. According to a paper published by Rio and Mayon, the fearsome predator lived during the late Pleistocene, from about 25 million years ago to about 10,000 years ago. Fossils of Quincana were found from New Guinea to New South Wales. It would have enjoyed its time running on the savannas of northern Australia. While it is hard to accurately determine its size, most estimates have put them at 200 kilograms. This estimation makes them the second largest terrestrial predator, and they live comfortably on top of the food chain. Of course, humans were no exception. The genus Quincana was named in 1982, inspired by the folk spirit Quincans. But the remains were found and described way earlier in 1977. The genus is under the Megasuchinae, a now totally extinct clade of crocodilians, which makes modern crocodiles their closest living relative. The genus has 4 recognized species, with Forty rostrum as the type species. Forty rostrum had 3 siblings: Quincana temara from the Miocene, Quincana barbara from the Pliocene, and even earlier was Quincana melbodi from the Oligocene. Other than its unusual terrestriality, Quincana was also known for its wicked teeth. Imagine a crocodile with the teeth of a shark, a 2-in-1 deal. These are called ziphodon dentition, and unlike the teeth of other crocodilians, which are conical to hold down prey, they were serrated. Those teeth were excellent at slicing and tearing flesh, which were traits they shared with other land crocs like the Sebecosuchians or even Komodo dragons, and even some theropods. This, combined with their abnormal limb proportions, was the reason it was believed to be fully or at least semi-terrestrial. This was later challenged by paleontologist Stephen Rowe, but was ultimately proved insufficient, and Quincana remained the apex land croc of Australia. Not only could the indigenous people of Australia not run from the land croc, they also couldn't hide. Introducing Megalania, or Varanus priscus, weighing in at a staggering 600 kilograms and growing up to 6 meters long. This overgrown Komodo dragon was likely the largest land lizard to ever exist. Due to the limited and fragmentary remains, its closest modern relative is still being debated among paleontologists, but some have suggested that Megalania was ecologically similar to the Komodo dragon, combined with its exceptional sense of smell, meaning nowhere is truly safe from this great beast. Megalania means great roamer in Latin, and roam they did, living in a large part of South Australia at the top of the Pleistocene food chain, fearing no one but its own kind. Megalania was originally assigned its own genus by Sir Richard Owen in 1859, but today it is widely accepted that it was a new species of the genus Varanus that includes the extant monitor lizards. Some even hypothesize that it may also have practiced mobbing, like the Komodo dragon, a behavior where multiple individuals surround and attack the prey, combined with the fact that they may also have a venomous bite, characteristic of the Varanidae family. It's no wonder they were the apex predator. Megalania undoubtedly had clashed with Quincana, since their territories probably overlapped, and between their venomous bite and massive size advantage, I'd give Megalania the win here. The indigenous people of Australia were on the menu of all sorts of predators, from getting stalked by half-ton land drakes to getting run down by galloping crocs. Even climbing on trees wouldn't save them, for the marsupial lion had that covered. Yet they persisted to the modern day, reminding us of humanity's resilience and survivability. While it is a shame that all these wonderful animals no longer share the earth with us, they still give us a fascinating look into the actual dragons that lived in prehistory. And sometimes real life can be weirder than fiction.